Am I the a-hole for telling my insane coworker that she was not victimized by a literal baby? I, 28 female, work with another woman, 33 female, who is extremely pregnant at the moment. She is on maternity leave and is taking time off right now, but she is very dedicated to keeping our entire office keyed into every little detail of her pregnancy. She spams her ultrasounds and updates and baby bump pictures to the office group chat constantly. She also has already had the baby shower and is still requesting more stuff for the baby from us. She treats the baby like it's a child, playing Mozart and playing a math podcast to it so it will come out with a higher IQ. That's why I wasn't surprised when she showed up at the office for Bring Your Kids to Work Day, to make it about her pregnancy even though her kid has yet to be born. She started showing all the children her pregnant belly and telling them about it. My other coworker brought her baby too, who is a boy at 1.5 years old. My pregnant coworker approached him and told him there's a baby inside her, pointing at her stomach. She was wearing a dress. But the boy misunderstood since he is a literal baby and tried to look up her dress to see it. My coworker was shocked and screamed at him and startled him, causing him to start crying and shrieking and to run to his mom. The mom was furious and started yelling at my pregnant coworker that she's a lunatic and saying why is she even here since her kid isn't born yet. My pregnant coworker started screaming back that this is how predators start out and that she's the victim and the baby needs to be controlled. She turned to me for backup, but I told her she's insane thinking she's been victimized by a literal baby. She yelled at me that it's no excuse and that I'm enabling. Both my coworkers were asked to leave by security. I'm pretty sure her reaction to a baby looking up her dress to find the baby was insane, but maybe I'm losing it. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not today home. He's literally a baby and doesn't understand pregnancy. It was no way sexual, and her saying it was sexually deviant is in itself deviant. Yes, like babies see memories as food. Not today home. A baby has absolutely no understanding of concepts like that. Probably doesn't even understand the concept of private areas yet. They don't even have self-awareness. Your coworker is insane. The pregnant coworker is clearly spending too much time on Reddit. Not today home. It seems like that poor baby was just trying to see the other baby. And what's with the "that's how predators start out" comment she made? A 1.5-year-old baby is not doing anything of a sexual nature. Not today home. Your coworker is interesting, less insane, and more self-centered. If she screams about a toddler looking up her dress, how on earth is she going to handle having a real baby that bites and throws things? I feel bad for her kid. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for mimicking my brother's tantrums to prove my parents treat us differently? My brother is 14 and I'm 15. It's always been really obvious to me that he's the favorite child and my parents treat him differently to me. His room is twice the size of mine. He gets money to go out with his friends and eat. But if I want to go out, I have to use money I saved for my birthday or Christmas or when grandma visits. I get in trouble for things he doesn't get in trouble for. There's higher expectations on me. And if my parents need help with something, it's always me they ask, not him. Stuff like that. I've been trying to explain to them that we get treated differently and they don't agree. They think it's just in my head. I would give them examples like how my brother is always really grumpy and barely speaks to them. But if I'm in a bad mood and barely speak to them for one day, I get in trouble. But they said it's different and got annoyed when I try to get them to explain why. My brother has been doing this thing lately where he gets annoyed about something. I think it's when he loses in a video game or his game freezes or something, but I'm not sure because it's always in his room. And he starts swearing and slamming his hand on his desk. Then he stomps around house slamming doors for like an hour. This happens maybe once a week. It scares my cat and honestly it scares me too. But my parents just ignore it. He did it yesterday while I was holding the cat. My arms got shredded because the cat panicked. I asked my mom if she's gonna talk to him about his outbursts, and she said I should just ignore it and he'll grow out of it. So today, I decided I'd test out what happens if I do the exact same thing as him. I waited until the cat was on the other end of the house so I didn't scare him, and I swore and thumped my hand on my desk. I didn't even get to do anything else like slamming doors because my mom got so angry right away and burst into my room and started yelling at me. When she took a breath, I said, "Okay, so now you've practiced with me. You can tell my brother off next time he does it, right?" And she got even more mad and said I need to grow up and stop focusing on my brother so much. and that I should just focus on myself because it's up to my parents to decide how to deal with our behavior, not me. So now I'm grounded for swearing once and thumping my head on my desk once. But my brother does that and then slams doors and stomps around the house like once a week and has never even been told to stop. And still my parents won't admit they treat us differently. My dad even came in later to tell me off all over again for copying my brother just to prove a point. But wouldn't acknowledge I did actually make my point. Just kept saying I was just being immature. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add. I think a lot of people are reading too much into this, maybe based on their own experiences and assumptions. My parents are totally fine to be around, except for the fact that they're strict when they think I'm out of line, but not with my brother. We get along fine every other time. Just because they're hypocrites doesn't mean they're psychos. My brother is not autistic. He's just recently gotten anger issues and my parents haven't bothered to do anything about it. He's not even completely dependent on them. Like he cooks his own meals and cleans his own room and does chores just like me. He just gets extra money and a bigger room and doesn't get called out when he's being terrible. Not stay home. But my advice to a 15-year-old in your situation is to conform as much as you can. Get the absolute best grades that you can. The best education you can. And every possible benefit you can out of your parents. Even if it means sucking up. Then get the hell out. So many young people waste their possible advantages fighting about petty things. Listen, kiddo. One day you're on your own. I promise you, your parents suck in so many ways. Are you right? Are you wrong? Yep, it doesn't matter. Take what you can get and get out fast. Listen to this and trust me, your family will suffer through the special snowflake they are raising. They're messing up your brother for life, not being fair to you. Get the best education and use your time wisely for a better future. He will make it difficult for you if you call out their behavior. Good luck. Kid is too young to get it now. But OP, your parents are doing a disservice to your brother. Keep your head down because you need your parents' help to get into a comfortable situation, and compromising your future over petty things like this would be dumb. This is a situation where it doesn't matter if you're right. Do as the Stoics do, and don't try to change something you can't control. The only way you win is by getting a good education, and a good life after you left your home, which you wouldn't want to happen too quickly. I know what you mean. I am the eldest of 5 boys. The smaller kids get treated way better than I ever was. It doesn't matter, because it helps you later on. Not stay home. If your parents don't see the issue now, they probably never will. Sorry to say, but while he will probably get assistance for college, his first apartment, and perhaps wedding, you probably won't. Consider now how you want your life to be. Seriously. Start a game plan and make it happen. Think serious about careers, college, and how much money you want to make. They may not be there for you, so you are all you got, kid. Be financially independent sooner rather than later. I hope you are happy and make a ton of money. Adding, see how soon can you get your own bank account without your parents as co-signers. When you are that age, get one and put all money in there. In the next few years, gather copies of all your important documents. Next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving a letter on my mom and siblings' grave that hurt the feelings of my blended family? When I was 7, I lost my mom and twin siblings. She was 7 months pregnant with them at the time. And all I knew back then was she went to the hospital. And 2 weeks later, I was told she wasn't coming home and the babies wouldn't be either. My dad met his second wife, Nora, 7 months later. She was a widow with a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. They fell in love fast and decided we should be a family through adoption. I didn't want to be adopted, and said so and asked. They told me it would mean so much to everyone and would be good for me, because I would be able to stay if something happened to my dad. So I agreed to it, but was never actually on board. They call themselves my parents. She introduced herself as my mom, and my step-siblings said we were just siblings. I fluctuated a lot, and was put into therapy to try and remove the step permanently. But the feeling was never there. I missed my mom and my siblings. Nor my step-siblings never meant the same to me or as much. I never wanted to be a prick about it though. It was the 10th anniversary recently, and I went to the grave and placed a note on there basically saying how much I missed them, how I wish I had a chance to be the twins' big sister, and nothing was ever the same without them or mom. How much her loss still impacted me and I would give anything to have them back. Since nobody but me really visits the grave anymore, I didn't see the issue with it. But then my dad took the kids and they read the note. Pretty much everything imploded on itself. Nora asked me did I regret the adoption, and I said yes. My dad asked how I could write something that would crush Nora and the kids, because the note made it pretty clear he said to anyone who read it that I considered my mom and the twins my only mom and siblings, that even without being stated directly it was clear. I told him I did not expect them to see it, that nobody else had visited the grave in 4 years. He told me it wasn't an excuse because I still left it there, but I also feel that way after close to a decade. And imagine how painful it is for them to realize they love someone who never returned it, who never wanted it, even though everybody else has been happy. Nora told me I need to consider whether I'm going to work on moving past this and embracing them fully the way they've embraced me, or whether we're going our separate way as soon as I turn 18. Dad said they will pay for therapy if I am willing to love and accept them as my mom and siblings the way they deserve. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I'm so sorry for your loss, and the way your dad and stepmom have steamrolled over things. You were 7. Out of nowhere, you were told your world had changed. I wonder if you actually got enough time, space, and support to process this? You left a letter for your mom and sibs. No one else had a right to read it, much less take offense. From what you say, you weren't saying anything against them. And now you are being threatened with being kicked out at 18 if you don't come around? Take up the therapy if you can. But they should have learned a long time ago that love is grown, not forced, and that the heart expands. Loving is not a zero-sum game. And they should stop being offended that you have room to love your mom and siblings still too. I would say no. It was all very confusing for me and very fast. But I don't know if Dad would have been able to go any slower and do the best for him. It comes down to he made the choice. He made to try and be the best dadded person for me, which I get. It was right for him in the end, but for me, probably not. Not stay home. I'm trying to wrap my brain around removing a note from a grave and then confronting the person who wrote it. It wasn't for the person who lifted it. If you wanted them to know those things, you'd tell them. What did your dad hope to find? A letter saying how you're so happy with your new and improved family? How could he not lose your trust regardless of the letter's contents? I also think there is a level of erasure going on here. Your dad wants his new woman to replace your mother, and that's just not a healthy thing to do, even if it makes his choices feel good. Your stepmom cannot be your actual mother. She can work to fill the role in every way and earn your love/affection over time. But this isn't the kind of thing you go to therapy for. A therapist isn't going to say, love this woman like she deserves or something. It's not how therapy works. Hell, I'd take them up on the offer. Tell the therapist this is the outcome you are being punished until you achieve. See how fast the therapist corrects them. I think it was less erasure because we used to all visit both graves. But I think what happened was they thought it could be the same, equal, and could make everything better for me the way it did for them. If the younger kids could grow up not feeling like they missed out, then I could too. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my parents they don't get to put their feelings first in this and they aren't the only ones struggling? 8 months ago, my sister found out she was not our mom's bi kid. Our dad was married to her bi mom, and her mom died soon after she was born. Dad met mom when she was 13 months old, and mom adopted her and they decided to raise her believing she was mom's kid. They cut out her grandparents and extended family because they wouldn't go along with being just family acquaintances. My sister told me they were in her life for a while, but once Dad met mom, they wanted no other mom in my sister's mind. So they decided they couldn't be grandparents or aunts and uncles either. It all had to be just like general people, not family. Grandparents' rights weren't a thing in our state at the time, and so they could just shut them out and act like they never existed. The only kind of hint we ever had looking back is when my sister needed her birth certificate for something when we were kids, and we were not allowed to help look. Our parents were actually mad at us for trying to help. At the time, it was weird, but we didn't think about it too hard. Looking back now, it is more clear. My sister found out when her cousin tracked her down on Facebook and made contact. It was a whirlwind. She was hurt, mad, felt betrayed, and questioned how she could deal with the news. She ended up making contact with her mom's family, and it's been going really well. Now, she and our parents fight a lot. They wanted her to make no contact. They said it wasn't fair on mom who raised and loved her. It is her real mom, and that she didn't need those people. It got nasty. My parents keep talking about how much they're struggling with this, and how hurt they are she reached out to them. I snapped the other day and told them their feelings don't get to go first here. Hers do, because she's the one who found out this big secret. I also told them we both find it weird too. My sister has a whole family I'm not part of, and she's learning to come to terms with the fact there was a woman who loved her so goddamn much, and our dad and mom just completely, utterly erased her and everyone else from her life who could have loved her too. My parents told me I was cold and uncaring towards them. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Good on you for defending your sister and giving her one person to lean on. This was seriously one of my biggest nightmares when my kids were little. That something would happen to me. My husband would remarry, and I'd be completely erased. I remember my husband swearing to me that if anything happened to me, that my babies would always know who I was, and that he'd ensure my memory stayed alive. I don't know how Opie's dad can live with himself. He not only completely erased his daughter's mother, but also cut off this poor dead woman's parents and siblings from her daughter in such an utterly cruel and callous way. Opie's father is beyond the a-hole. His behavior was downright evil in my opinion. Not the a-hole. They are absolutely unhinged. They lied to both of you and caused all this upset. They deserve to be suffering as a consequence of their terrible actions. Opie lost out too. It is possible that her sister's family would have welcomed Opie into their lives and hearts as well. Even if they hadn't, it still would have been good for my sister. This pain she knows now wouldn't exist. Maybe a different kind of pain would be there. But at least it wouldn't be pain built on deceit.